and welcome to Business in Action, where we look at current business events and what their implications are. My name is Devesh Mahabir. Please look out for the relevant questions you should be asking yourself about your industry throughout this video. Today's topic is, what will be the repercussions of the blacklisting of Huawei by the US government? Due to the current trade tensions between the USA and China and security concerns, Huawei are being blacklisted by the US government, resulting in US-based companies not being able to conduct business with Huawei. This has resulted in the Android license for Huawei being revoked. They have been granted a 90-day temporary license in order to let supplies prepare, and this may be extended. This situation could be posturing by the US as they also threatened ZTE before then changed their mind after deciding that more jobs will be put at risk. So they fined ZTE and requested some management changes. Huawei is much larger, having around 7 times the revenue of ZTE, so it's hard to see the US government not backing down. This seems to be a tactic used by the US to try and play hardball. If the blacklisting does stand, what can be the implications? How will it affect Huawei and other players in the industry in the long term and the short term? If Huawei does lose access to technologies from US companies, for example Google apps such as the Play Store and Gmail, it will have an effect on its international operations as users may view these apps as critical. Users in China will not be affected as Google apps are not currently available within China. There will also be other components that Huawei will lose access to, such as certain chips or other technologies. These include Corning Gorilla Glass and Micron storage. There are alternatives to these, so they will need to negotiate with those parties. And this could give those parties critical mass to challenge Huawei's current suppliers, as Huawei is currently the world's second largest cell phone manufacturer. They are already developing their own chips, although these are based on the ARM architecture and could also be threatened. And they also said they have been creating their own operating system in case they lost access to Android. In the long term, this alternative could become a competitor to Android. Huawei will have to build supply chains to replace those that they are denied access to. This would put pressure on them in the short term, but in the long term they could create supply chains that challenge current incumbents. Any changes to supply chains could be detrimental to companies that are forced to withhold their technologies from Huawei. This would mean that, in the long run, the sanctions may be detrimental to the companies that the US is trying to protect. We would have reduced industry concentration and increased competition, which should lead to an increase in innovation. And future industry consolidation would be hindered as regulatory agencies may prevent buyouts of companies in light of the current issues. To have a better trading environment, it would be beneficial to have the Chinese economy open up to foreign companies. But the current tactics being used by the US may not be the ideal way to achieve this. Coming from a president who considers himself a master negotiator, these just look like strong-arm tactics. And against another strong opponent, they may not be a good strategy. What are your thoughts on the blacklisting of Huawei? Please let us know in the comment section. Please like and subscribe and leave any feedback you may have. Thank you.